Welcome back to another video on Influential Sports. Today we got a very special video. Got a guest, David from Wrestling with Things. We're gonna be sanity booking WrestleMania 41.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Ed, for having me on your platform, man. I'm truly honored and excited to get into some fantasy booking. Let's have some fun.
Okay, we're gonna start with night one surprise. So I have John Cena winning the men's Royal Rumble and him challenging Gunther for the championship and having that start off WrestleMania. And I would have John Cena win this match so he could set the record of winning his 17th world title. Because I think if he goes against Cody, I don't know who will really win that match.
hmm You want me to go, or you gonna go through your whole card?
I'll go through my whole card.
Okay, do your thing.
All right. For the second match, I got CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Drew in a triple threat. Because I feel like they still want to do that match at some point, and I don't think you can drag out Seth and CM Punk as long as he did with Drew and CM Punk without having that third guy involved. Because it's gonna bring all the pieces together. Then I have Seth winning in like a weird double submission way. Like he submits both of them to get the win, and he looks dominant after. For the third match, I think because I think Lyra Valkyria is winning the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I would have her go against my favorite women's wrestler, Becky Lynch, but I would have
Oh,
Lyra Valkyria retain the title since they ran in NXT. They run it back on the main roster, and Lyra Valkyria gets her WrestleMania moment retaining the title against Becky Lynch. Because it's kind of like Becky Lynch had people like Paige help her, so now it's her time, and she's done it to help younger talent.
yeah, that's a dope one right there. I buy into that right there. That's a good mid card spotlight.
You know, for the fourth match, I had I have no idea how we get here, but the Street Profits are SmackDown Tag Champions at this point, and Fraxium has been called up from NXT. Then you do the Street Profits versus Fraxium at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Tag titles. Because I don't really know what. Now I think SmackDown last night was decent, and they did a good job showcasing the tag teams. I'm
hmm
hoping it gets to the Street Profits and they have it heading into WrestleMania and I would have them I had them retain the titles in this match, get Frazium on WrestleMania, get more people to know them. But I think that'd be a good match. Before the next match, it was you gotta get people on the card somehow. So Naomi, Bailey, Bianca, and Jade, they're running the fatal four way. Because we still don't know who attacked Jade. But if Jade comes back, he has a reason to look at everybody weird. Because let's say it was Bailey that attacked her to get into the triple threat, then
hmm
Jade could argue with Bianca like, why don't you trust her? And then
hmm
Naomi took her spot to become the tag champ. So you got so many revolving storylines. You could easily put on a great fatal four way match between these four women.
Yeah. Right.
For the next match, it's a heel versus heel, but I would do Shinsuke versus Solo Sikoa for the U.S. Championship and have Solo Sikoa get the title. I feel like his Tribal Chief run, it's been pretty good. Wasn't a big fan of it at first, but he's continued, like he keeps improving each and every week. So I'll put a title on him on the main roster.
hmm
Then for the main event, since it hasn't happened in a few years, I would have the women's, I would have the women main event. I have it be Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair in the main event of night one. Uh, I said, and so glad that Tiffany Stratton cashed in because and I think Tiffany Stratton
Yes.
should win this match. Like Charlotte, she should put over Tiffany Stratton, and then that rumor about like Charlotte going on this dark run, I think that should happen after she loses at WrestleMania to Tiffany Stratton.
Ah, okay. I like where you got. I like that you didn't just book the matches, but you kind of have some direction for a lot of these. I like where your head is at. I like you have some ones that I didn't think of. The heel versus heel with Shinsuke and Solo. I like that. I think they could work well together. And then the Becky versus Lyra. I think that could give some great value to the inner women's IC title. Like, what better way to give it some prestige than to have two greats and a former world champ like Becky go after it. Um, but I'm gonna start us off right with night one. I think I might surprise you. We have some differences, but some I think we have a lot of the same wrestlers overall. But I got Tiffany Stratton versus Becky Lynch. Um, the reason for that is I have a funny feeling that WWE's highlighting this transfer window period, which is kind of like WWE's trade deadline. It seems instead of having a long drawn out draft, I could totally see Becky maybe moving over to SmackDown, or in some ways it's a softer brand split. Anyways, I could see. I don't know how we get here for a lot of these bookings, but I think with the soft brand split and the transfer window, there's so many different moving parts that could get this to happen. But I could see this happening. It's a fresh match. They had it a match in NXT, but I think on a big stage like WrestleMania, with Tiffany Stratton, with the world title, it could be even bigger and better. And I think they got a lot of story to tell there. And I would have Tiffany Stratton win because I think she's one of the next big stars for the women's division. Um, Again, I don't know how we get here, but I think, listen, this might surprise people, but I think we get a New Day triple threat. Big E versus Xavier Woods versus Kofi Kingston. Um, all three of them, Big E, Xavier, Kofi Kingston, have a three-way. Because if you remember, Xavier and Kofi Kingston still had disagreements, and they still said some shit to each other that you can't take back. With Xavier saying Brock Lesnar whooped your ass in 6 seconds, and Kofi saying you were never good enough to be a singles guy. They still had those things that you can't take back. So I still think at some point, even though we see that they're on the same page as heels, which I can't wait to see where they go. I think they had that segment with Big E for a reason. It's either they secretly know he will be cleared to compete, or he may be secretly already cleared. And I just think there was no if there was no point to put Big E in the segment if there wasn't a possibility he could have a match. And I think this is a good way to pay it off, or potentially a handicap match. But I'm going to say a triple threat match, and then they all shake hands afterwards. I would say give the win to Big E if he's coming back. But I know this one's a long shot, but I'm gonna say a New Day triple threat. Um,
That's interesting because I got something completely different for the New Day and what they doing. But I can
oh, you got
definitely
something
take it.
tonight too?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's lit. That's lit. I can't wait to hear it. um, but yeah, something tells me Biggie's gonna wrestle. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna stick with it. Um, this next one again, don't know how we get here, but I have a feeling. Wyatt Six versus Jacob Fatu and Solo Sokoa. Because if you look at the Wyatt Six, right, their whole thing is going after people that turn on their loved ones or betray their family and friends. And that means at some point they gotta come from Solo's ass because he turned on his family. So I think it could be a cool way to give Solo and Jacob Fatu a title together to keep them busy and dominant. So I think we can have the Wyatt Six going in as World Tag Team Champions on Raw to defend it against Jacob Fatu and Solo. I feel like with Netflix being on Raw, Solo and his bloodline are probably going to be on Raw. I just get that feeling. Um, Next, I got Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. I know a lot of people think Randy Orton should face Cody Rhodes. Don't get me wrong, I want to see that too. But I feel like with how the storylines are going at this point, Cody Rhodes is going to be busy with other people at WrestleMania at least. So if you think about it, Randy and Kevin still never got their one-on-one. Kevin Owens just attacked them, pile drived them. The match never started. They never had that one-on-one. I don't want them to drag it out to WrestleMania, but I could see it building towards a final big grudge match at WrestleMania. And I think these guys will have a great match. RKO versus KO. It's kind of cool. um, Next, I got Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax. Um, I feel like WWE is going to keep it simple and say Nia Jax was the one to attack Jade Cargill. I I feel like they could do the surprise route and make it Naomi, But for some reason, I get the feeling that they won't do that. I get the feeling that they like Naomi in the role that she is as the lovable veteran. So I think they're gonna do like a Nia Jax versus Jade Cargill, um, have the unstoppable force meet the immovable object, two of the strongest women ever, and it's a good way to get Jade Cargill over as a good guy even more. And I'll give it to Jade Cargill for sure. I
Yeah,
got
I think
Braun.
that
Go ahead.
that'd be a cool match. It's just so simple. Like I wish there was something more to it, because it probably is Nia Jax that attacked her, but I wish it was like Bianca turning heel so we could see it on the main roster for the first time.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm right there with you. I think they should be creative and make it Bianca, either a heel Bianca. I think that'll be something fresh, or maybe a heel Naomi. But I get the feeling WWE is gonna be too simple with it and pick Nia. But I hope I'm wrong. I feel like they're gonna try to be too simple, but we'll see about that. Um, Next, I got Braun Breaker versus Sheamus. I do feel like Braun Breaker will hold the Intercontinental Championship till WrestleMania, most likely. And Sheamus is on this long journey to finally get his fair one-on-one Intercontinental Championship match on a big stage to finally become a complete Grand Slam champion. And I know they had a match. I think they had a match a couple months ago on Raw, but they never got a complete finish because Ludwig Kaiser interfered. So I could see them revisiting this. This could be a good, hard hitting mid card match. And who knows? Maybe I'm going to say by that time, Braun Breaker will be ready for the main event and he could put over Sheamus and Sheamus could finally get that Grand Slam win. I think it'll be a cool little WrestleMania moment. What you think about that?
I like that. Actually had that somewhere on night two, Sheamus and Braun Breaker. I think
Oh,
they're
you
gonna
had that?
Yeah, that's gonna be on my night two card. But
Great
I
minds
also would
think
have
alike.
Sheamus winning so he could become the Grand Slam champion. I think they'll deliver a great match for like no shenanigans, nobody else getting involved, just putting on a banger, as Sheamus would say, and him getting
After
that win.
banger.
Then
Yeah, that I could
Braun
see that,
Breaker
and they're
elevate.
both the type of wrestlers that like really laid their shit in and really beat on each other. So I could see it. I could see it being a nice dark horse match on the card. And then I think I'm at my main event, my seventh match. I think we have this match in common. I do feel like the easiest route is John Cena versus Gunther, 17th, chasing 17th. And I think this is the perfect time to do it. It's just too good of a story to not do it. And you do it. What better way to get more eyeballs on WrestleMania and Netflix than for Cena to have a world title run? And I think John Cena doesn't even need to hold it very long, honestly. It could be a month, it could be 2 months. I just think breaking that record so you could tell that story while you still have the greatest ever, in my opinion. You just have to do it, and I think you can put over somebody big by having whoever beats Cena for that 17th world title. So I just think it's a win-win situation, and you send the fans home happy to come back for night two by ending night one with Cena making history.
I like that. And then I hope Cena does win. And then if Dominic wins Money in the Bank and Cena has the title till SummerSlam, and whoever Cena faces he beats at SummerSlam, then Dominic cashes in. That his heel heat is gonna go up even more if he cashes in on Cena to
Yeah,
take that title. I'd be interested in seeing that.
that would be. They would riot and throw trash in the ring for sure on some NWO stuff.
To start off night two, and this is gonna tell you who I have as my main event. I have Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton starting to show off for the WWE Championship. And I think so how we get to this match is Randy Orton. You have an elimination chamber with Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, LA Knight, Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, and Austin Theory. And you have Randy Orton and Kevin Owens be the last two guys in the Elimination Chamber, and Randy gets the win to go to WrestleMania to face Cody Rhodes for the title, and then he ends up winning the title. So you start off both nights of WrestleMania with two of the greatest ever, John Cena and Randy Orton, winning world titles to start the show, and it's just set the tone for the night.
Okay. Okay. That's different. I like that.
Then the second match, since I had the Fatal 4 Way on night one with Bianca and them, we don't have any women's tag team champions, so the titles are gonna be vacated. I guess you can do a tournament since WWE love to do tournaments. And
Mm-hmm.
you have Kaden Carter, Katana Chance versus Isla Dawn and Alba Fire versus Lash Legend and Jakar Jackson, and you Lash and Jakar they end up winning the titles, get their WrestleMania moment. I think the run they had, their brief run on the main roster was definitely solid. So to see them have this WrestleMania moment would be great.
Yeah, I like them a lot. I think the sky's the limit for both of them. They can make that tag division even better.
Yeah. The third match, we already said it, Sheamus and Braun Breaker. We already talked about it. I have Sheamus win that. Then you can elevate Braun Breaker into the main event scene.
Mm-hmm.
For the fourth match, Chelsea Green versus Piper Niven for the women's U.S. title. I think at a
Mm.
certain point, Piper Niven, she's going to get fed up with how Chelsea Green is treating her, not giving her no credit. And she eventually turn on her, leading to them having a match at WrestleMania. And Piper Niven to get her WrestleMania moment, becoming the second women's United States champion.
That's dope. That's fire, yo. I think Piper's very underrated. You fuck with her?
Yeah, the match she had with Me Chen, it was really good last night.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
For the fifth match, I would have the New Day as the Raw Tag Team Champions going in. You get a heel New Day versus a babyface Usos. A different dynamic to what their rivalry was. And the way that New Day gets the titles, we haven't seen this in a while, but they did one elimination chamber where it was tag teams in it. I think you do that again to show how dominant New Day is. Had them go against the War Raiders, AOP, the Creed Brothers, LWA, LWO, and
Mm-hmm.
Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Then you had a New Day start the chamber. Then they show how dominant they are by winning it as the first team in, the last team out. Then
Mm-hmm.
they go into WrestleMania, get heel New Day, babyface Usos, and the New Day retain the titles, keep going on a dominant run as tag champs.
Oh, that's big. Do in your scenario, does Biggie not get involved? Period, or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay, okay. That's dope though. An elimination chamber with tag teams. We don't see that enough. I like that.
For the sixth match, I would have I would have Liv Morgan retain at the Raw Netflix debut because I think it's more you can do with Liv than compared to what Rhea could do because she done ran through the whole division already. So I have Liv keep it. Then I have Alexa Bliss winning the Royal Rumble. I'm dying on this hill. If it doesn't happen, then that's unfortunate. But I think
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss wins the Royal Rumble, and then you run that match at WrestleMania, and I'll have Alexa Bliss to win the title, get her WrestleMania moment. And I think, and to make it even more interesting, I would make this a street fight. Just
Okay.
be an all-out brawl between these two. Then for the main event, The Rock and Roman and Bloodline Rules match, and I would have obviously the Bloodline is gonna interfere. The whole family gonna be out there. All 42 Samoans they have employed. I have Roman Reigns I have Roman win this match to make him an even bigger star. The Rock doesn't need to win. I think it'd do more for Roman Reigns if he was able to get
Mhm.
this win.
That's your final main event right there.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. That's a nice card. I'm glad you have honestly, I wish they would have done it last year, but I'm glad you have The Rock versus Roman because I personally think they should pull the trigger by now, but it feels like they're stalling. It feels like they might stall that another year. I hope not, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Because I got this weird feeling that despite what I said, they really want to do Cody, Roman, and Rock in a triple threat.
you
And
you stole it. You stole my thunder. That's what my main event's gonna be. But you stole it.
because I have a feeling they want to,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I get the feeling too. Like I'll just come right and start with my main event. I'll start backwards. I got my main event for night two: The Rock versus Roman versus Cody. Because like Ed's saying, like the way the television's going so far, it seems like they're trying to stall for Rock Roman, but they want their cake and they eat it too, and they want Rock and Cody to have a confrontation, but they also want Roman to keep having a confrontation with Cody. So what better way to have your cake and eat it too than to put all three of them together? And let's be honest, The Rock being a part timer, you could hide his weaknesses in the ring a little bit more with two of the best in the business. So like I see the three ring well. I feel like nobody's talking about that route.
And the thing is, I wouldn't mind it. It's just that I don't want to see Rock and Roman keep getting pushed back. Like we need to have that match already.
Yeah, bro. I feel that. Yeah. A triple threat would make sense, but I almost feel like you got to do Rock and Roman first. But
Yeah.
we kept us waiting for too long. Like, but
Or to make SummerSlam feel even bigger, you do Rock and Roman at WrestleMania, then you had a triple since SummerSlam gonna be two nights for the first time ever. You make that triple threat the main event of SummerSlam.
that's even better too. Honestly, that could work just as well. Honestly, I would prefer that. Honestly, but we'll see. They got a lot of options, but I feel like we'll see The Rock in some fashion. I would love the John Cena Cody Rhodes, but I feel like The Rock will be in there will interject that. So Cena could do the Gunther in night one, like I said. But next match, I would have Bianca Belair versus Charlotte. Um, I think this would be with Charlotte going into WrestleMania as world champion. And I would honestly have Charlotte retain the title only because I would make this the first match of their rivalry, and and I know Bianca hasn't lost at WrestleMania, but there's a first time for everything, and I think Charlotte is qualified to beat her, and I would make this the start of a long rivalry and allow them to continue maybe having a best 2 out of 3 matchup. I think this is a fresh big matchup that we haven't seen in the women's division. So I'd love to see it.
Okay. And then at the end of it, if Bianca comes out on top, she would have beat all four horsewomen.
That's a fact. Yeah, I wouldn't mind it if Bianca came up on top, but I'm gonna say Charlotte just like I said, I think Charlotte winning would allow them to continue their feud a little bit more. But if
Yeah.
Bianca did that, that would be really dope though.
But I
That's
wouldn't I think Bianca losing at WrestleMania it'll be fine. It's just Charlotte shouldn't end the Oscars winning streak.
yeah, I feel you on that. Next match, this is kind of like I think this is just gonna be a okay undercard match, but I think it's a good place to do it and maybe make a new star, up and coming star. Austin Theory versus Grayson Waller 1-on-1. I think you could finally make Austin Theory get fed up somewhere on the road to WrestleMania and like feed Grayson Waller to Braun Strowman or some crazy monster like that. And they finally have a match. You finally solidify Austin Theory as a baby face, and you at least have a little bit of a fresh direction for him.
Okay. My thing, this should have happened like 5 months ago though. Like they're
Real
waiting
talk.
so long to do the split, and it's making me mad because I'm actually like Austin Theory. He's actually one of my favorite wrestlers. Like he was doing such
Yeah,
a great job as a heel. I bought one of his shirts. I have an Austin Theory live shirt. That's how good of a job he was doing.
real
So
talk.
it's like I feel like he could really be pushed. He could be pushed to the moon, especially if Vince was still in charge. Don't know how Triple H really feel about him, but they waiting. Triple H is waiting so long to split them up. Like he just needs to do it already.
Real talk. Yeah, this should have been done already. And honestly, hopefully it's done before WrestleMania. But with the way Triple H likes to drag stuff, I could see him dragging it. And it would be a cool WrestleMania moment for Austin. I know he beat John Cena, but I think this moment would be um as big for him right now because he's the total package. I still think he could be a main event star. I still think there's time to rebuild him. Next, it's gonna get a little weird and out of it's gonna feel random, but hear me out. I think Creed Brothers versus Street Profits, and I don't know how we get there. I think I'm similar to you, but I have Street Profits entering as as WWE Tag Team Champions to face the Creed Brothers, and I have them losing. I have the Creed Brothers finally getting their WrestleMania moment and their first main roster tag team titles. Um, and but I do think those two teams could have some great chemistry.
Yeah, that could be a fun match. I wouldn't mind it.
And then this this is somewhat a long shot because I don't think WWE's sometimes I think WWE doesn't think outside the box this much. But hear me out. If you saw the press conference kickoff to the Netflix Raw kickoff, you saw Gunther and Logan Paul get into it a little bit. and and Logan Paul said he's after a world title this year. So and I think there's a way to combine this with the CM Punk Seth Rollins stuff. So I have CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre versus Logan Paul in a four-way to see the winner faces the winner of John Cena versus Gunther. What you think about that? I know that's a wild one, but I feel like think about it. You got CM Punk, Drew, and Seth Rollins all have history, and Logan Paul's like that outsider that's claiming he's gonna win a world title. You can intertwine all of that, get them on the card, and you got something different there with the four of them.
You, I actually like it. I mean, obviously, I feel like we both agree that CM Punk, Seth, and Drew, they all gonna be in the same story by WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because there's only so far you can drag out the rivalry with two people, so you're gonna have to have a third. But then if you incorporate Logan Paul into it, and they all going after the world title, it's like they all have reason to hate Logan Paul because he's not an actual performer. You
Mm-hmm.
obviously got Seth and Drew, their beef with CM Punk. Now, who wins that match? That'll be interesting. Because because whoever wins is gonna have to lose. Because I don't think John Cena gonna lose his first title defense.
I think that's why I think it might sound crazy to some. Logan Paul should win. He's the perfect. I feel like he would be the perfect coward bad guy to let Cena conquer in his first defense
I
and
think if
get that win right there.
I think if Logan Paul pins CM Punk, it's gonna be a great way for him to get some more heel heat. Because
Mm-hmm.
for some reason the fans love CM Punk, even though he should be the heel in this feud with Seth Rollins.
Real
It
talk.
seems like they're gonna make Seth the heel, which is really dumb because everything he's saying is right. Like he went away, he trashed the company for 10 years. He joined the
Yes.
competition for some change, and then he got fired. Like I don't see how Seth isn't the baby facing this. But a Logan Paul pin CM Punk who they love, that'd be a great way to build him up even more to threatening heel. Then him going into a match with John Cena would be that'd be fun. Would that be what backlash? Usually after WrestleMania? That'd
Yeah.
be a cool main event.
Real talk. And that would make a lot of that would get a lot of media attention. You got one of the biggest stars and biggest actors going against the biggest social media star. I mean, it would sell itself. You go right into it, and I think it'd be very cool. And it's gonna be a long shot, but WWE doesn't do number one contenders matches at WrestleMania. I think this could be a cool way to put something on the line amongst the four of them. My next match is going to be, hear me out here, Rhea Ripley versus Dominic Mysterio. I'm not the biggest fan of intergender matches, but I think this storyline it would make sense. And and I hate it because I know WWE's not gonna let them have an actual competitive matchup. They would try to make Rhea Ripley dominate him and Dominic run around and he won't really drop kick her or slam her. He will just kind of move out the way and toss her into the turnbuckle. He won't really defend himself. But I think if they it was a couple months ago with Black Couch Booking and my co-host Sammy on my Wrestling with Things, we Black Couch Booking came on the show and we were talking about this, but shout out to Sammy, but I'm gonna go with his idea. If they do this match and WWE doesn't want Dominic necessarily to hit her because it doesn't look politically correct, even in pro wrestling these days, have Dominic Mysterio frog splash her through a table. I think that's a safe way for him to get her with a devastating move, but not hit her or really strike her or do something unsafe. So I could see this match happening to finally, for good, have closure. And we all know WWE is going to make Rhea Ripley win.
Yeah.
What you
Uh,
think about that?
I like the way you're thinking. The Triple H just don't have the balls to do it. If this was Lucha Underground, that match that'd be a 5-star match. Because in Lucha Underground, it was equal rights, equal fights. It
Real
didn't
talk.
it didn't matter who it was. But yeah, they did have that match. Rhea would win. It probably wouldn't be that great. But whoever ran Lucha Underground, WWE needs to find them and hire them. Because
Mm-hmm.
them intergender matches went crazy.
Yeah, yo, they went hard. Like it didn't matter if it was men versus women, men versus men. Like they went hard. Like it's really crazy what they were able to do. They were very unique.
I think Chelsea Green was part of it. I think she was in some of
Yeah,
those matches.
and she would kick ass over there. Yeah. And I have this match since I kind of went backwards and opened with my main event. I have this match. This is my last match, but this would actually what I would have open night two. I would have night two open with a multi-man ladder match for the United States title. It would be Chad Gable versus LA Knight versus Sami Zayn versus Damian Priest versus Karrion Cross versus AJ Styles. I feel like we got to get AJ Styles on the card. Um, and I would honestly have Chad Gable get this win. Chad Gable should have honestly he should have beat Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship, but they didn't do it. And listen, it makes so much sense. Like he's kind of a modern day Kurt Angle. He's a part of American Made, the United States champion. Give him that moment. Let him beat these guys, and that's a big ladder match win.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Three things. I see what you did, having Gable and Creed brothers come out at night two, all with championships. I
Yeah.
like that. And then the Intercontinental Championship, that whole debacle was so weird because Sammy didn't need it. He just main evented WrestleMania the
Right.
year previous, won the tag titles. It should have been Gable taking the title from Gunther,
Yep.
Jay Uso type taking the title from Chad Gable, then Braun Breaker beating Jay Uso.
Mm-hmm.
It was so simple. You could have did that. You wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
have had Jay just having it for 28 days or Gable never getting it, having a mid card title. And when Braun Breaker won it, he would have had a dominant 60 plus day reign instead of having two reigns already.
Mm-hmm. Right. I agree with 100%.
And then, and with you saying that card, I realized how many people are left off because it's
Real talk.
like I didn't have AJ Styles, Priest, Sammy. It's like because some of these, ultimately, some of these people not gonna be on the card. Unfortunately, that's just how it's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe these, like I have both women's mid card titles being defended. Maybe it won't happen. You don't really know.
Yeah, that if you notice, I didn't have any of the women's mid card title. That's why I said this is challenging because I think they should have the women mid card titles, but I feel like they might not have space, and they will save it for the Raw and SmackDown before WrestleMania for
Yeah,
those titles. But I would like to. I really would like to see that Lyra versus Becky Lynch. I think they could do something there.
because obviously the you have so many pay per views in a year, but you don't have the Night of Champions pay per view anymore. So when it's WrestleMania, I feel like all the titles should be defended.
I
They
agree.
don't got to be defended at every pay per view, but it's the biggest one of the year. So that
I
was my
agree.
thought process, making sure I had all the title matches, then trying to fit in some other matches like Rock and Roman that might not feature a title, or getting or like the triple threat that I had with Punk and them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think in a perfect world, it's the you only get one biggest show of the year, but leave every championship out there. Satisfy every flavor of every division.
But yeah, that is. That's it for this video of Fantasy Booking WrestleMania 41. I think we both had a lot of great ideas. Hopefully this gets out to somebody in WWE. Bruce Pritchard, hit my phone
Real
if you see
talk.
this. Work for WWE, but make sure y'all leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Dave from Wrestling with Things. Comment down below what y'all thought about our fantasy booking. That's it. Peace.
Word.